Glory to Jesus Christ. I am so tremendously excited that I'm having such a hard time even being articulate right now, because we had an amazing night at the prison. And this was groundbreaking for several reasons. So a couple weeks ago, the priest at my church started coming in with us, which is awesome, of course. Awesome to have the Orthodox priest there, and that he's awesome, and has very good, he has a very good way of speaking to groups of people and keeping them interested without being superficial or condescending. He's awesome. Former high school teacher. That'll do it. So, because it was just going to be our priest and myself and my friend whose name I didn't ask if I could give out, so anyway, another Orthodox, Father had the idea that rather than just having a Bible study, we would do a Molieben for the, I knew I was going to forget the exact one that we did. It was for the increase of love and the dispersion of hatred and animosity, I think is technically the name, but it's a, a Molieben is a prayer service. So it was totally awesome. It was the first time, to my knowledge, that there's ever been an actual Orthodox service in that prison, ever. And Father started by talking a little bit about, he had an icon of Christ from Mount Sinai. It's the one where you have the face is in two, like there's kind of two parts. It's the Pantocrator icon. And I'm going to try to find a copy of it that I can either slap into this video or another video, and I won't talk too much more about it because unless you see it, it's hard to understand why it's so amazing. But he had that, and then he also brought in an icon of the Virgin of the Inexhaustible Cup. So we had those propped up on the chalkboard, and then we did the Molieben. And it was basically Father doing the priest parts, I was doing all of the reader and the choir parts, and then our friend was in the back doing the epistle reading and trying to keep people focused in the back, which was really great. So, what an awesome thing to actually be able to say, we had about 100 men, to say, you know what? We're going to do an Orthodox prayer service, and most of you have no idea what you're about to experience, and so we don't even want to give you the service, in a bulletin or whatever, because we want you to just listen and pray. And then, excuse me, next week, I think we're probably going to bring something, so they do have the petitions to actually see. It can help, and I was trying to chant a little bit more slowly because I had to remember that most of these guys have never heard the Trisagion prayers before. They've never heard the O Heavenly King. So that was a good reminder for me to always be very deliberate in everything that we do and don't ever toss away those syllables. So we had about 100 men, and they were super, super, super well behaved. And after the Molieben, we had a discussion about the passions, and, what are the passions, why are they bad, how can we try to crucify them, etc. Then for the women, we only had, I think we had 4 women. See, with the women, there's a big amount of variation from week to week. Sometimes we have 20. Sometimes we have 1 or 2. So we had 4 tonight. I don't know if there was like a conflict with one of the drug and alcohol programs or not. It depends on the AA volunteers who can come in, because so many of the inmates have court-mandated 12-step programs. So if the AA people or the NA people, the Narcotics Anonymous, if they can only come in at the same time as church, well, you got to go to AA. Now that's not right. They shouldn't have to choose between church and their 12-step program, but sometimes it does unfortunately happen that way some weeks, but not very often. So I'm just absolutely on cloud 9. What a blessing to be able to share just a little bit of how an Orthodox service is different from any other kind of Christianity in the world. Now, we had no incense, okay? We had no candles. We only had 2 icons. They were both pretty small. So Of course, they're not seeing the fullness of Orthodoxy, but it's a start. It's something. And what I think I'm going to do is I actually have two huge icons, one of Christ and one of the Theotokos. I think I'm going to bring those, because those are big enough that we, a couple feet tall, so that we could have them propped up and it would be a little bit more of a visual focus. But you know what? For the first time through, awesome. Very, very awesome. So I'm probably going to post the service on the blog. I need to ask my priest permission before I do that. I also cobbled together a morning and evening prayer packet. It's not a packet, actually. It's one sheet, front and back. And I had Father look at it tonight, and he said that it was good, so I can go ahead and make copies of it. But see, the thing is, you can't bring staples into a prison. At least not this prison. This is a maximum security prison, so you can't have staples. So I thought, well, you know what, if I do morning and evening prayer and it's 3 sides, they're going to lose one of them. So I cut out a couple of the petitions, but Father seemed to think that it was fine to do it that way. So I've got the sacerdotal stamp of approval, and when I finally do copy those, I'll throw a copy up on the blog as well so you can see exactly what we're doing. But I always try to make everything as concise as I can so that it's one piece of paper that they're a little bit less likely to lose. So, anyway, a lot of people that experienced their first taste of Orthodoxy tonight. What a great thing. What a great thing. Glory to Jesus Christ. Glory forever. That's really all I got. It's a good day. Later.